Good evening, everybody. I told myself I wouldn't be nervous being up here, but I am. For those of you who I haven't met, my name is Pat Mulroney. I'm Danny's best man and older brother.
Louder. Louder. Louder.
I want to thank Kate's parents for hosting this amazing wedding. For a great couple and all these guests, and for raising Kate. A tremendous person who, as luck would have it, my brother was fortunate enough to make a lifelong bond with. I want to thank my parents as well. I think we all know Danny's a hell of a guy, somebody who enriches the lives of everybody lucky enough to meet him. And that never would have happened without the upbringing that you gave to him, Mary, and I growing up. So, on behalf of all three of us, we're eternally grateful to you for being our parents. So, I've been looking forward to this speech for a long time. I'm not gonna lie, one of the reasons I was pretty excited about it was I knew I was gonna get to preside over the only detail of this wedding that Danny and Kate did not get to say. So outside of the weather, which cooperated thankfully, a little windy, but outside of the weather, I'm the only wild card in this equation. A lot of responsibility, a lot of power. Pretty excited. So,
I'm Pat. Woo!
Careful. Now, in the spirit of full transparency, I had a speech I've been working on for a couple of months. And I read it to my wife as a practice run, and she shut the entire thing down.
Yes, they did.
You know, something about this not being a roast, and you're going to make people cry, but not in a good way. So, thanks to her talking some sense into me. Thank you. You guys really don't have anything to be worried about. So, let me tell you a little bit about growing up with my brother Danny. We've been very close since a young age. We've always shared similar interests: fishing, football, golfing, my dad's cooking. Yeah. Just to name a few. But despite doing almost everything together since a young age, we've always had really different personalities and talents. So Danny's always been the elite athlete. No shame in admitting that. I've usually been the brains of the operation. This morning, my brother referred to books as chapter books, which reinforces my brains in the operation. Chapter books. Danny's always been really agreeable and easygoing. I tend to be pretty stubborn. I've always been a bit of a risk taker, and my brother tends to be a lot more cautious. In fact, he's had to overcome a lot of fears in order to be the man that you all see here today. Now, as a little kid, he had a fear of being home alone. One time he was about 13 years old, him and my younger sister Mary were home alone together. He was supposed to be babysitting, and he heard a noise, upstairs. Being the brave, tough guy that he is, he sends our 7-year-old sister upstairs to check out, just to make sure there weren't any robbers.
That's so true.
True story. Also, Dan's never really been a great swimmer, and as a kid, he was a little bit afraid of the water. And I think if he's being honest, he's still a little uneasy about it. Yeah, shaky. That's a good word. So, that's probably partially my fault. I almost drowned him in a couple of rough housing. Probably at the Cross's house, I'm sure. Yeah, that was a bad one. Anyway, sorry for the permanent damage. A few summers ago, our parents hosted a bunch of people at our house for a summer afternoon barbecue. And, the party had been going on for a few hours. I found myself sitting at a picnic table with Danny and my Uncle Vinny. Michael Vincent was there, a few other friends at the picnic table. And somehow the topic of near-death experiences comes up in the conversation. So, I remember recounting a story from back in college. I went cliff jumping with some friends. I got pinned underwater with my shoes on against a rock ledge, and I was really scared I wouldn't make it back to the surface. I almost drowned. It was terrifying. I remember looking over at my brother, and he was just captivated by this story. Just locked in, glued on every word of my story. So then Miles Vinny, who's a professional stand-up comic and a really great storyteller, he told a story about when he was a little kid. He was like 10 years old at Candlewood Lake. He went swimming with his friends. They were going back and forth under like a floating dock with like an air pocket underneath it. And he's telling a story. They've been going back and forth all afternoon. He gets his foot caught against like a rope that's holding the dock down, and he gets stuck. I look over at Dan. His mouth is open. He hasn't blinked in like a full minute. Fear is visibly all over his face. It's on the forefront of his mind. He's thinking about nothing else but fear. And my uncle says, I got my foot caught. The tighter, the harder I struggled, the tighter the rope got. Tighter, tighter, tighter. He paused for just a brief moment for dramatic effect. My brother sees that moment. He half stood up from the picnic table and looked him right in the eye. He goes, "Did you make it?"
Oh my God.
One of the hardest times I've ever laughed in my life. I couldn't catch my breath for a half hour. So I had lunch with my brother more recently, early last year, before he got engaged to Kate. And I just sort of blurted out, "Pat, I'm getting real close to popping the question." I was caught off guard a little bit, but of course, he gave me a huge hug. "Congratulations, that's amazing." I asked him some questions I think any brother would ask, when his brother tells him he's about to get engaged. The answers I received to the questions I asked were answered in a way that only my little brother Danny could have possibly. So I asked him, "Dan, how are you thinking of proposing?" He goes, I don't know, I didn't even think about that yet." Well, all right, no big deal, right? "So, do you have the ring yet?" He goes, "No, I said I was thinking about it. No, of course I don't have it." I go, "All right. Do you know how much an engagement ring costs?" And he goes, "Not exactly. I imagine it has something to do with the size." I go, "Yeah, the jeweler's probably going to take that into consideration." At this point, you must be pretty confident she's going to say yes. And he paused for longer than I expected. Like he was thinking about this for the very first time. And eventually he says, "Well, I have a feeling she will." And he said it almost like a question, like he wasn't very confident, he was a little uncertain about it. I go, "I don't want to see him get rejected, of course, right?" So I go, "Dan, I know," I had to press him. I go, "Dan, I know, how do you know she's going to say yes? How do you know?" He goes, "Well, she's told me like 100 times." Kate, you look absolutely stunning tonight. In fact, your beauty is making my brother look a lot more handsome than he actually is. So I knew that Danny was completely enamored and found Kate to be the most beautiful woman alive early in their relationship. So one of the first times that I met you, Kate, you dropped Dan off at a golf course early in the morning one day. And Danny was to meet my friends and I to play around. And I remember you guys pulled into the parking lot and Kate got out to let Dan get his clubs out of the back. And he gave her a little kiss and he walked over to my friends and I with his clubs. And I just remember the first words out of his mouth being, "Isn't she amazing?" And I was like, "Oh, he's so adorable, but he's also so soft." What a soft thing to say. But, he knew Kay was beautiful from the very beginning and he was head over heels. He had a smile ear to ear all day. He played terribly. He was really distracted. It's obvious that, his mind was on Kate that day and not his golf game. And I save every scorecard. And I happen to have that. And for the record, you shot a 108. So, Kate, in getting to know you over the last last few years, it's obvious to me and everybody else in Dan's life that you're a wonderful and talented person with a huge heart, and we're really happy to see that you're rubbing off on my brother in a positive way. I honestly didn't think there'd be a woman on earth with the patience to support my brother's dream of being a career football coach, knowing the grueling hours and emotional roller coaster that come along with it. And not only do you have the patience to tolerate his passion, but you're truly his #1 fan. You're out there tailgating in every game, supporting him, actively. Loss after loss. One win. 2 wins. But in all seriousness, your support for my brother is a testament to who you are as a person, and I couldn't be happier to see that my brother was lucky enough to marry you. So God bless you for taking care of him. And if everyone would please join me in raising a glass. A lot of people are seeking a spouse based on compatibility and someone that they can envision themselves spending the rest of their lives with. These two have each found a partner that they could not envision living life without. I think that's really special. I'm incredibly happy to see them both so happy together. Danny and Kate, I'm proud of you. I love you both. Kate, welcome to the family.
Good job, Patrick.
Go ahead, everybody, and give a big round of applause as you put your glasses down for that fantastic speech. The brother of the groom, everybody. Make some noise for Pat Barone.